let's make some noise for your co-main event of the evening. Introducing first, out of the red corner, Charlie C4 Alexander.
Nashville's Charlie C4 Alexander, 2-1 out of Nashville MMA. First out in this lightweight professional MMA bout. What do you think of C4, Bubby?
Charlie Alexander's a tough opponent. As tough as they come. He's resilient as well. His pro debut against Damir was, nothing shy. There's no easy way around that fight right there. And he's bounced back off that with 2 consecutive wins. Looking to place a third together tonight and then call that a streak.
And he was 4-2 as an amateur, was C4. And you mentioned a police officer and super popular in the mid-state. And he fought Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman as an amateur, lost to Hot Sauce back in 2011. Actually started fighting as an amateur in 2009, made the jump to the pro ranks against Damir, as you mentioned, in 2016. After losing that, winning the last 2 over John Hennig and Lathan Lawson from, of course, Bubby's camps. He knows him really well. You were there at the weigh-ins last night. A little bit of trash talking from C4, right?
Yeah, C4 is just an intense guy, man. I mean, he is. He's serious when it comes to the sport and when it comes to his job as a fighter. You got to think, when these guys are making weight, especially in a first responder field that he's in, this guy's got to go on call, making weight, having a diet, and if they're cutting weight, it's not only a danger to their body, it's a danger to their job, it's a danger to their life. This guy is used to being under the pressure, under the gun, and he takes it serious.
And he rolls into the cage. All right, back to Shamir.
Now his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, Keith Olson.
Here's Keith Olson, the hometown guy from Tri-Cities BJJ here in Johnson City. Crowd loves it. Thoughts on Keith Olson?
Keith Olson, guy's an experienced Taekwondo black belt, establishes good range, pinpoint kicks, not afraid of some jiu-jitsu either. He's a head coach of where he's at. Got some training partners that he works with, Dylan O'Sullivan and Cody Smith out of Tri-Cities BJJ. But he carries the weight on his shoulders of, he's the instructor of where he's at. He's in charge of his camp. He's got a little bit of maturity behind him in that, but that can also be pressure as well.
Boy, you hear the reaction for Keith Olson. His victory was over Alex Riggs at Valor Fights 47 as a pro back in January. And we take a look at the tail of the tape in our co-main event of the evening, brought to you by the Valor Hour on Radio Influence. Lightweight division, professional MMA. Charlie C4 Alexander 2-1. Keith Olson 1-0. 2 fighters very close in age. Alexander a year younger. Olson 2 inches taller. Both weighed in at 154 for this lightweight bout. What else stands out about this matchup between these two that seemingly are very evenly matched?
They actually are very evenly matched. I'm going to edge out some of the striking on Keith Olson. Keith Olson has got an experienced background in martial arts, and he actually utilizes his kicks really well. And they're both of these guys are very talented athletes. You got Charlie Alexander here, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt, but he displays a much higher level of blue belt on the mat. I think when we did our research on him, we thought he was a purple or brown belt. I say, hey, what belt are you? He says, I'm a blue belt. I got a stingy coach. Nothing wrong with that.
Whatever helps motivate. Olson is in the cage. Olson has only lost 1 time in his career. That was in 2017, his last amateur fight to Quentin Thomas. All right, let's go back to Shamir.
All right, this is a lightweight division fight. It'll be 3 5-minute rounds of professional MMA. I do want to let everyone know that we're not at weigh-ins yesterday. Things got very heated at weigh-ins, so I expect a lot of bad blood here. I want to go ahead and thank the Valor Hour, our podcast, for sponsoring this fight. First, I will announce, out of the red corner, this mixed martial artist fights out of Nashville, Tennessee for Nashville MMA. He weighed in at 154.2 pounds. He holds a professional MMA record of 2 wins with 1 loss. Charlie C4 Alexander! His opponent, out of the blue corner, hometown hero, right here in Tri-Cities BJJ in Johnson City, Tennessee. He weighed in at 154.2 pounds. He holds a professional MMA record of 1 win with 0 losses. Keith Olson! Your referee for this fight is Jimmy Neely.
Jimmy Neely, our referee for our co-main event, as this building is electric here at D3 Sports in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities for Valor Fights 51. Charlie C4 Alexander in the maroon trunks, Keith Olson in the black trunks, presented by the Valor Hour, lightweight division, pro MMA, 3 5-minute rounds. And we're underway with a kick from Olson.
Got a much more tighter, compact stance coming out of Charlie Alexander, and you're about to find out why they call him C4. He can knock.
Excuse me, Bubby. One note of info, great info that you get on the Valor Hour. Alexander has broken his hands numerous times. Something to look for in this fight.
Got a nice level change out of Alexander's, trying to make Keith think twice about throwing these kicks. A little bit fidgety moving into the pocket, but that's what Alexander wants. He's getting a reaction out of Keith Olson.
Olson on his bike.
Still controlling the center is Alexander. See if he can pressure forward here as a shorter athlete, rocking his head into the pocket. Beautiful instep kick off of Alexander right here. Response off of Keith Olson, swing and a miss.
in a finger wave. No. That's not happening from Alexander.
Alexander, he'll get in your head. He will. He'll taunt you during the fight. He'll talk to you. The eyes are piercing.
Yeah.
He'll look clean through his people. I mean, look at him right here. He is dialed in.
He's chopping that lead leg of Olson, too. Goes after it again, and here comes Olson.
Small flurry, Olson charging forward, tags Alexander one small time. Alexander recomposes back on center control again. Beautiful instep kick once again off of Charlie Alexander.
Nice body kick from Olson. And Alexander continues to toe forward, changes stance.
Let's see if he can start timing. Olson's everything downstairs. Nothing, no boxing so far. So far, it's been a kick-for-kick kind of game. Let's see if Alexander can time this kick, step in on a straight right with a lead hook behind it.
Yeah, you're right. Both guys much more with the legs. A side kick,
Hey,
a head kick.
you're trying to throw that headache maker. Nice tag to the body, swings and lead hook upstairs, misses, but he gathers a lot of info off that. He got in and out smooth.
And Bubby, even Alexander is not reckless coming in. He's cognizant that Olson can strike back.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's staying right inside that range. Olson is dangerous when you give him some range, and it's coming from that traditional Taekwondo background. He's light on the feet, linear in stance. Look here, we got Charlie starting to pump up the timing a little bit, switching to a southpaw, playing with him a little some. If he needs to step inside, nice skip punch.
Wow.
Skip punch again. Doesn't connect like the first.
But finally, some punches thrown by
That's
Olson.
right, yeah. Olson loosening up a little bit here, starting to get a little more freestyle some. He can come out of his shell a little bit and get some of them jitters out. We might see some more striking out of Olson, a little more diverse. Small limp off of Olson off that calf kick.
Co-main event here at Valor Fights 51 in Johnson City. And so many of us were looking forward to this fight. Nice flurry in by Olson.
You know, that's the second charge-in exchange that Olson had success with. Easy takedown secured by Charlie Alexander. Just steps in, body locks, goes at a double leg, gets and secures the takedown. Listening to his corner man quite well. Got Keith Olson tightly controlling the head. Doesn't want Charlie Alexander to posture and rain down any power on him.
Under a minute left in round number 1, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds.
Charlie has put himself in between Keith Olson and the cage right here. So there is no cage walk opportunity for Keith Olson right here. Charlie's got a little bit of freedom right here where he can't really be oomphed over, his right side. So he's got essentially a wall to lean on in case.
And look, when you look at these guys, rehydrating, Alexander's the bigger fighter.
He is. Alexander fills out extremely well, and he's short, so he shows it. Alexander's got a good shoulder pressure on him, but Keith Olson is inviting him to stay on top just by holding him down so he can't separate or rain down any ground and pound on him. But in doing that, he sacrifices just body shots, repeatedly.
And this is pro MMA, so elbows will be legal if Alexander can get in that position.
Alexander looking to pressure on the knee to just scream a pass through if he can.
Look out.
Shoulder pressure again, climbing his hips up, trying to make that knee cutter a screamer pass. There's the Eskrima pass right here. Gets through half guard into side control. Let's see if he can secure him, and he does.
Wow.
Here we are here, less than a minute left in this round. Big knee. Inching his way to knee to belly right here is Alexander. But then again, you got Keith Olson holding the head. He's going to have the, here we are, a little separation from him. Big knee again.
Yeah.
Good knee again. Small ground and pound.
10 seconds.
Gives up his back. Raining down punches is Charlie Alexander trying to finish this fight and the round. Secures the rear naked choke. Very, very, very tight ending right here for Charlie Alexander.
Yeah, and Olson puts the thumbs up.
He's up. He's, hey, I'm going to wait.
And that was another one that was close. You had to make sure that that was the end of the round and not a stoppage.
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you, Olson pops right back up. He smiles, gives the thumbs up, So here we are now. I'm for sure going to go ahead and have to give Charlie Alexander that round. Secures a takedown, advances position on top. If the same exchange happens in the second round, he may not be so fortunate.
And so C4,
Absolutely.
You would give that round to?
Walking into the second round right now, Jimmy Neely lining these guys up.
The crowd is in just on the edge of their seats and cannot wait for the second round to start.
This is for sure co-main event material. These guys are bringing it to the fence in a rather fast pace.
This is main event quality competition.
Absolutely.
Here.
Absolutely.
Olson hands down.
Little different approach off Keith Olson this round. Got to look for when he starts turning the toe inward, he starts setting up that pivot for that spinning back kick. Playing a little more loose and freestyle this round is Keith Olson. Look at him, opening up a little bit, trying to be a little more unorthodox, which he's having some success doing. Big charge coming in off of Keith Olson. Alexander's doing good, staying composed. This is just profession coming out of him. This guy's a police officer. I'm pretty sure he's. There it goes the Matador. Charlie Alexander pulling in. The Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, he responds to a lot. He'll nod no or.
Absolutely. He's very, very alert and attentive during the fight. Keeps the emotion into it at times.
Yeah, in the mind games.
Absolutely. He plays all kinds of fights. It ain't just a physical fight for him. He's good at winning all aspects of them.
Well, Olson really hasn't landed anything major. I wonder if Alexander, I'm going to give him some more comfort to maybe creep in just a little bit more.
He's changed up his timing a bit, changed up his antics a bit, and it's almost essentially like a fresh first round at times. You're having to refigure out.
Right.
Second rounds can be funky like that, especially if you knew you took a drop in the first round. Steps in on that jab as a southpaw, gets through Alexander's guard, doesn't connect hard though. Alexander is right on the cusp of his jab, getting ready to flatline him if he can get his hands on him. Nice, squares his stance up with an instep kick. Let's see if he follows that up with some punches behind it. Nice low calf kick on behalf of Alexander.
Alexander is very confident, but I'm not sure that he fears strikes from Olson right now.
I think he does. I think he sees that Olson's strikes are an antic to just frustrate him, essentially. There's nothing with any type of small skip punches of that nature. It's just to upset the timing and upset the range a bit.
Now the kicks, that might be a different story.
Right.
You get caught in the head.
Right. Throws that nice, fakes that right hand, throws that lead power to the body of Alexander. Alexander's blocking. Counter off of Alexander, steps in on the body lock, see if he secures the takedown again this round.
That's a good amount of weight leaning on Olson right now.
It is.
Jimmy Neely, close eye.
He's given up the underhook, and now he finally tends to it with a whizzer of his own. Alexander still winning the head fight right here. Small, there we go. Good, nice chopping knee to the body on behalf of Alexander.
And Olson puts his right leg up to protect, and he gets taken
secures
down.
the takedown off that double leg. Repummeling for the far side underhook. Alexander level changes, lights him up. Back into the guard we go right here. Let's see if the game plan has changed any since the first round. The sweat is now a factor. These guys are pouring out sweat right now, so the slipperiness is going to be a factor.
This is how these two ended round number 1.
Alexander's doing a good job at keeping his head positioned above Keith Olson's. Not, he's staying away from his legs and putting a lot of the fight up in Olson's arms, so he has his own punches to the body free and available while Olson's tending to his head.
Yeah, and Alexander continues to be active with those hands and shots to the body, a few to the head.
Small choppy punches up the center for Alexander. Olson holding on for the ride again. Got his foot based on his hip, trying to feed him down towards his legs a little bit more. Looking to set up that armbar there for a second there. He ditched it immediately. Alexander's arms are wide based. It's kind of hard to hit that pivot when he's got his arms based out that wide. Alexander's doing a good job at just staying above him and being a nuisance in an open guard, not passing, just doing damage.
And Alexander's corner really likes the work that C4 is putting in so far here as we're closing in on the final minutes of round number 2.
Alexander comes out of a powerhouse training camp. They have good jiu-jitsu. He's no stranger to this position. And he is not the head coach of his own facility. He's got some masterminds ahead of him and some stellar training partners that have a lineage of producing good talent.
That's a balance, right? If you're a coach and a fighter?
It is. It can be a balance, but you got to have somebody above you at times. I'm very certain that Olson's got some people to train with.
Right.
You got to have somebody to instill some confidence into to guide your career a little bit. And that's exactly what Charlie, Alexander has at Nashville MMA. Nice sweep attempt right here, a scissor sweep on behalf of Keith Olson. Alexander is back into the guard. Almost got this single butterfly in right here. Going into the final 10 seconds of the round. Let's see if Alexander opens up and tries to seal this round off like he did last round.
Just a hammer fist to the ear of Olson, and C4 ends up on top. Statement to the judges. Did you give C4 that second round as well?
Give C4 in the second round as well. He's, you have Olson wanting to have good intentions. At this point in time, the closed guard is not working for Keith Olson. You have somebody who's low and stocky like Houston Alexander. I'm about to call this man Houston. Like Charlie Alexander. It's at the point in time when his head is buried in your chest. You put your hands on his shoulders. You push him off. You put your shins on the inside of his biceps and play an open spider guard game. Feet on his hips and look to establish to kick him off and get back to your feet again. Olson's better bet's going to be on the feet. If he lays here in this third round, he is going to be giving this fight away. At this point in time, I got him down 2 rounds. He's going to need to make a strong pullback and a statement in the third round.
Would you change anything if you're Olson? We've seen him with a little bit different look in the stand-up game. Anything different you would try to do to maybe prevent from being taken down?
I would be telling Olson to strike and pick an angle and move. Olson's standing directly in front of Charlie Alexander, and Alexander's able to pressure forward almost effortlessly, level change, put his face in his chest, and just cinch the double leg and dump him.
Right.
And Olson is doing a good job at establishing a whizzer, but he's losing the small battles, the hand fight and the head fight, which come before the takedown. The takedown doesn't just come out of left field in that position. Charlie Alexander's winning the small positionary battles that are leading to the takedown.
Olson chomping at the bit to get after Alexander. He could very well be down 2 rounds to none if they go to the judges' scorecard. And Alexander steps forward, and we're underway in round number 3, 3 5-minute rounds. Lightweight bout presented by the Valor Hour, our co-main event of the night here at Valor Fights 51.
I would like to see Olson placing together combinations a little more this round and pick an angle off to the side, but he's very linear. He's chipping away, and Charlie Alexander will stand right in front of you and fire back. Make no mistake. Switches southpaw momentarily right here. Back to orthodoxy goes. Checks the kick.
Yeah, he telegraphed that spinning wheel kick there.
And you know what? And a lot of times it would be okay if he telegraphed that to back up Charlie Alexander to regain some of that real estate so he could put the pressure on Charlie Alexander, but he's not.
Woo. Looked like he had turned his back and then spun with a kick to the body by Olson. That was a different look.
A lot of new material coming out here in the third. But when you're down 2, you got to bring it out.
Yeah.
And as Alexander, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Chip away.
Yep.
Look at there. Walks in forward. He needs to create an angle, a level change. He's a very mono-leveled fighter right now.
C4 continues to look confident.
Nice kick for kick exchange. Big overhand right. Misses Alexander. Alexander standing in that pocket, checking with a lead hook.
Impressed with Alexander not overexerting himself. Gets another takedown.
Simple. I mean, effortlessly steps in on Keith Olson. Catches Keith Olson shelling up. Level changes, face in the chest, body lock. Nice police takedown.
Yeah.
He's using the cop control on him right now.
Yeah.
Big knee off of, for Houston Alexander. Charlie Alexander. Olson trying to buck on him. Charlie Alexander is just chipping away here with these knees.
Yeah.
Got to be careful for spiking him in the spine right here with the way that Olson's turning. But when Olson turns this way, he essentially will give up now. He's turning his knees away. There's no defense. There's no line. Big knee from Charlie Alexander.
Olson did it again. He turned his back to the kick.
And you got to be a victim of circumstances right there. And Jimmy Neely will tell him that. You can't expect him to be called for spiking to the spine when you are turning your back.
And some of that may be a little bit of momentum. The kick is so fierce.
Knee to belly. Charlie Alexander posts his knee up to knee to stomach. Feints like he's going to mount. Shotguns a big knee to the lat of Keith Olson. Very creative, and very, honestly, it's effective.
These are two fantastic prospects, and right now, it's all C4.
Checking him to the body right here. At this point, honestly, Alexander could move the mount if he wanted to, but there's no reason to.
Right.
He's chipping away, beating the brakes off of him from top side control, waiting on him to give up his back, honestly. Honestly, waiting. It's easier for him to give up the back than to go to mount and ride that train.
Boy, watch the face of Olson as one of those knees to the body connects, and you see the damage, the pain that it's inflicting on Olson, who almost escaped out.
Olson looking to regain guard right here to get a little bit of control over Alexander, because Alexander is running rampant on him right now.
And when you're chopping wood like that, that's going to present submission or ground and pound opportunities, right?
Absolutely, especially when he's wincing in pain. I mean, look, these are unanswered knees to the ribs.
Co-main event of Valor Fights 51, Vince Ferrara, Bubby Mitchell, Kate Side on the call here tonight. Great to have you with us on flowcombat.com. Main event still to come here in Johnson City.
You got Keith Olson just inviting Alexander to stay on top, trying to keep his head in close range so he don't be a victim. So he's not a victim of these big elbows right here that could potentially come if he lets go of the head. But, on the same note, he's giving up big knees to the body. I mean, punishing knees.
Wow. And Alexander's such a big guy. That one closer to the shoulder blade. Oh,
just spiking these knees in. And Alexander doesn't even have to worry about an escape from here. Olson is just hanging on for this ride.
Wow, the bruising that will come for
big
Alexander.
Knee. Oh, my gosh. That spiking in on the rib cage and kneecap in.
And you hear it, Bubby. With every one of those kicks, the crowd goes, ooh.
I'm absolutely.
Just punishing knees.
Alexander has set it on cruise control, and he is definitely coasting his way to a third victory in a row right here. Putting him on a nice streak. 10 seconds left in this fight.
C4.
Looking to separate. He's opened his hands up here.
Wow. With some flash and style to close it out. What a performance by Charlie Alexander.
Great fight.
Hey, I'd hug Mark Laws too.
That's right.
As much as he takes care of these fighters, but what a performance by Charlie C4 Alexander. Crowd, I think, just stunned and in awe of the punishment that Olson took in this fight, and for a good part of 15 minutes. Now, there was times where Olson, they were exchanging, pretty well in the stand-up game, but when it went to the mat, it was all Charlie Alexander.
Absolutely. Alexander made good adjustments. Keith Olson's got an amazing ability to generate a ton of power if you give him the space to do it. Charlie Alexander did a good job of staying slightly inside that range to make him pay for it.
Keith Olson has not suffered defeat since his final amateur fight, May 28, 2017, on his pro debut over Alex Riggs. And even though this went the distance, it looks like it will go the way of Charlie Alexander. And if so, it'll be 3 straight for C4. Let's go to the judges' scorecards and make it official. Here's Shamir.
All right, we go to your judges' scorecards after 3 5-minute hard rounds. All of the judges score this fight a unanimous fight. Win for the red corner, Charlie C4 Alexander!
I'm here with your winner, ladies and gentlemen, Charlie C4 Alexander. Congratulations. Moving on right now to 3-1 as a professional. Even more impressive, 3-fight win streak now. How'd you feel after this fight?
I feel good. First off, thanks Keith Olson. Good crowd out here. Thanks for being respectful, showing me some love. Dude's tough, a lot tougher than I thought he'd be. 3-fight win streak. I feel really good, man. My camp's awesome. I'm super confident. I don't think anybody can touch me. Brown belt, black belt, don't give a, you know what, I'm going to beat him. Just line him up.
You had, especially coming off a traditional martial arts background, Keith Olson presented a lot of, it looked to be at first, you did extremely well, showed persistence, showed patience, time in the range getting in. You did an extremely good job of staying right inside the range, not letting Keith Olson get off on that. I saw a ton of maturity out of the fight, especially in the ground aspect. Beautiful display of wrestling. What's next for you?
Like I said, just line him up. I'm going to take him down. I love Valor, but, I got to keep moving up. Valor's getting me to where I want to be at, and then once they build my career up, I'm going to go up and beat. I don't care who it is. Just bring them on.
Nashville MMA's Charlie C4 Alexander. Congratulations.